Hey grade 12s, in today's video we're going to check out question 6 of the Chemistry Paper 2 Gauteng Prelim 2025 paper, where we're going to work through some chemical equilibrium. So let's jump right in. So question 6.1 says, consider the following chemical equilibrium. So we have our 2Cr042 negative aqueous solution. They're telling us that the solution is yellow when there's more of this present. We also then have 2H plus aqueous solution, and we have our double arrows implying chemical equilibrium, which means that the reaction can go both ways, either forward or backwards. And then we have 2Cr2O7 to the 2 negative, and when the solution is orange, there will be more of this present. And that is also an aqueous solution, plus H2O liquid is just a byproduct. And then they've also given us our enthalpy over here, this delta H, and it is negative 895 kilojoules per mole. So if we have a graph like this, we're dealing with some sort of exothermic reaction, because here we have our EP, here we have the course of reaction, or we can just call it time, and here we have our reactants, and here we have our products. Okay, if we're gonna put a number value here, let's call this 10 over here, let's call this 5 over here. Our delta H is our E of our products minus the E of the reactants, which means that the product's value is 5 over here and the reactant's value is 10 over there, and therefore we have a negative 5. And if something is negative, it's implying that it is exothermic, like this. But what's most important for us when we have an exothermic reaction is that we are releasing heat. So we're going to plus heat on this side where our products are, so we can then deal with any changes that might happen to this whole beaker. Because what's happening is that this reaction is taking place inside one beaker over here, where we have our reactants and our products, and depending on how we affect the reactant side or the product side will determine whether the forward reaction is favored or the reverse reaction. Because this leads us into 6.1.1, where it says what is meant by the term chemical equilibrium. And for 2 marks, it is when the rate of the forward reaction equals the rate of the reverse reaction. That means the forward reaction equals the reverse reaction, which means as these ones over here form new products, these ones over here break down to form the reactants at the exact same rate. And this would earn us 2 marks over here. And then 6.1.2 says, using Le Chatelier's principle, explain how an increase in temperature will change the color of the solution. So as we established, this is all inside one beaker. So we have our reactants and our products and our heat all being released in one beaker. And the reason we wrote heat like this was because heat is greater on this side. So if we're gonna move it over here, we can treat heat just like we would a reactant or a product. And if we're increasing the heat in this whole beaker, therefore we would have more heat on this side. And what happens is if we have more heat on the side, imagine there was a ball on a seesaw over here. We've increased the heat on that side. The ball has to roll downhill in order to favor the other reaction, which means that if heat is increased on our product side, it means the reverse reaction is going to be favored because we have more heat, we've increased the heat, and therefore it needs to favor the reverse reaction to counteract this disturbance. So we start this by saying, according to Le Chatelier's principle, an increase in temperature favors the endothermic reaction. So as we established earlier, this is an exothermic reaction going forward because we have our reactants which have a higher potential energy than our products over here. But then if we've increased more heat on our product side over here, it means that the reverse reaction is going to be favored, and therefore it will be favoring the endothermic reaction. Because the forward is exothermic, heat has been released, and therefore adding more heat will favor the reverse reaction, which leads us to our second point, saying the reverse reaction is favored. And then in this specific question, they were asking the change of color of the solution. How will that affect it? And as we established, it will be orange if the forward reaction was favored, but if the reverse reaction is favored, it will form yellow, which means we just have to write that the color of the solution changes yellow. And that is how we'd use Le Chatelier's principle with these 3 steps to earn us 3 marks over there. And then 6.1.3 says, a concentrated solution of hydrochloric acid is added to the equilibrium mixture. What is the effect on the concentration of the dichromate ions, the Cr2O7 2-? So this guy over here, Cr2O7 2-, and hence on the color of the solution. So if we're going to redraw this equation here, we're going to interpret it very similarly to how we interpreted the heat in the equation. Because if we have added HCl, we don't exactly have HCl in our equation over here, but we do have H+ ions. And if we link this to our acids and bases section, HCl over here will break off and form H+ ions and Cl- ions. So if we're increasing HCl over here, we're increasing this side of the equation, our reactants. And what happens if we're increasing our reactant side, just like the seesaw analogy earlier, we are pushing up the seesaw. There's a ball over here, and therefore it's going to favor the forward reaction rolling down the seesaw in order to balance this equation, which means they were referencing how the dichromate ions over here, how they'd be affected, and therefore they would increase as the forward reaction is being favored. We have more reactants over here, which would collide with these reactants over there, forming more products over here, and also more water as a byproduct as well. So they said over here, write only increase, decrease, or remain the same. Explain the answer for 3 marks. And we would say increase because increasing the HCl concentration will result in an increase in H+ ion concentration as well. This will in turn favor the forward reaction. And then heading back to the question, they said, hence on the color of the solution, if we're favoring the forward reaction over here, we're going to turn the solution more orange. Therefore, we say more dichromate ions makes the solution more orange. And writing increase, as well as these 2 points over here, and this point over here would earn us 3 marks over here. And we've just covered heat as well as concentration for chemical equilibrium. The only other thing that can affect chemical equilibrium is pressure when it's coming to gases over here, but they aren't asking any pressure questions in this section, which means we've dealt with the Le Chatelier portion, and that'll lead us to the Rice table portion in the next part. The questions are always split like this because 6.2 over here says consider the following chemical reaction. We have 2CO gas, which is very important. Gases are the only things we take note of when we're dealing with Kc, and we have CO2 gas over here, also important, and then a C with a solid. If ever we need to work with a solid and there's only a solid on one side of the equation, we would just treat that as 1 in our Kc. But if there is a gas on the same side as it, we just ignore the solid when it comes to Kc. So here they've given us the Kc value of 10 at 1095 Kelvin. And then they say a 1,0 decimeter cubed sealed vessel at a temperature of 1095 Kelvin, as they mentioned over here, contains CO and CO2 gas. An excess of solid carbon, as we mentioned, is formed. The concentration of CO is 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2 mol.dm to the negative 3, and the concentration of CO2 is 1,21 times 10 to the negative 3 mol.dm to the negative 3. So they gave us the concentrations of both of the gases, and then 6.2.1 says, is the system at equilibrium? Support the answer with a calculation. So one thing we know is that Kc is the concentration coefficient when the gases inside a beaker are at equilibrium. So if we are trying to prove this, what we can do is we can take their concentrations and see if it does in fact equal 10 over here. Because if it equals 10, then it means it's reached equilibrium again, that the forward and the reverse reaction are at the same rate, which means that we can go Kc over here. We can make that equal the concentration of CO2, square brackets. There's a 1 in front of the CO2, which just means our exponent over here is to the power of 1, which means we don't have to write it. But when we come to the concentration of CO, we see that there is in fact a 2 over there. So we have to put it to the power of 2. A reminder that Kc is our concentration of our products over the concentration of the reactants. And that's why we put the CO2 first, because that is our product over here, and the CO to the power of 2 in our denominator, because that is our reactant. Which means if we're dealing with the concentrations that they have given us, we can go ahead and write the concentration of CO2, which was 1,21 times 10 to the negative 3, and we can put that over 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2. And then we just have to go ahead and square this one like we had over here. So if we plug this in our calculator, we'll see that we do in fact get 10. And then heading back to the question, them asking is the system at equilibrium, we'll then say Kc value is the same, i.e. it was 10 before this reaction took place, and then it's 10 now. So Kc value is the same, and therefore system is in equilibrium. And this over here would earn us 3 marks over there. And then last question, 6.2.2 over here for 7 marks. Says carbon dioxide gas is added to the system and the mixture reaches a new equilibrium. The equilibrium concentrations of CO gas and CO2 gas are now equal. Very important for us. The temperature remains constant at 1095 Kelvin. Very important that the temperature remains constant, as temperature is the only thing that affects Kc, which means that we'll have 10 as the Kc value before and then also 10 as the Kc value now in this new reaction. So it says calculate the amount in mole of carbon dioxide that was added to the system. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this for us. So we have our reaction. Our solid isn't important for what we're about to do because we are about to do a rice table with the gases. So a rice table is something like this, where we have R, I, C, E, and then we have C again, which is our concentration. So R means the ratio, I means the initial amount of moles, C is the change in moles, E is the equilibrium in terms of moles, then as we mentioned here, C is our concentration, which is no longer in moles. So the whole first portion over here has to do with moles. And what we're dealing with is our 2CO over here, the one gas on our reactant side, and the CO2 over here, the other gas on our product side. So the ratio is the number in front of both of these, which means the number in front of CO is a 2 over here, and a number in front of CO2, our mole number, is 1 over here. In order to calculate our initial moles, what we have to do is look at the concentration that they had previously before this new reaction took place, because this is the second reaction we're doing. We are now using the previous equilibrium value as our initial values over here, but they didn't give us the moles of them in equilibrium. They did give us the concentration, but that is quite easy to calculate in this scenario, because for our CO over here, they told us that our CO's amount of concentration, if we go C equals N over V, the C value is 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2. And then they also said up top here is that we have a 1,0 decimeter cubed volume. So that is a 1 over there. And then our N over here is what we're looking for to plug in to our initial moles over there, which means that anything multiplied by 1 is just the same thing, which means our moles are just 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2 for the initial moles now of this new reaction. Because this was at equilibrium, now we're taking this and this is our new initial moles. So we can just go ahead and write that 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2. So we got the initial moles of our CO gas over here, but we can't just go ahead and do the same thing for the initial moles of our CO2, because this question is saying that carbon dioxide gas is added to the system and the mixture reaches a new equilibrium. So we don't actually know the initial moles over here. It technically would be 1,21 times 10 to the negative 3 as we have over there, plus Y, because we don't know how much mole was added to it. So we can do it like that, but one thing that might be a bit easier for us to deal with is that they are now equal and the temperature remains constant, which means that if we're going to go into our Kc formula where we have the concentration of our products over the concentration of our reactants, a reminder that these are just gases here, so our product is CO2 to the power of 1 and our reactant is CO to the power of 2 because of the molar number in front of it. If they're telling us that Kc is the same, therefore we have a 10 over here, and then we're going to have to do an algebraic equation, because a reminder that the concentrations are equal, which means that they are exactly the same, and what we'd usually plug in to this formula here is the concentration. So it means if the concentrations are equal, we can just call them x, and then we can start to solve for this, because at the top we have x to the power of 1, and at the bottom we have x to the power of 2 based on the molar number in front of it. If we go ahead and simplify this, this guy is going to go, the 2 is going to disappear as we simplify one of the x's over here, and then if we're going to resolve this where we have a 1 left at the top, we're going to bring the 10 down to the bottom, and we're going to move the x up top over there. So we're just cross multiplying now, and this is telling us that the x value is 0,1 mole.dm to the negative 3. And that is just because the temperature remains constant, therefore Kc is the same, and they are now equal in terms of concentration, which means this guy is x and this guy is x as well. So when we sub them in the equation, we can just go ahead, plug them in, have the correct exponents based on their molar numbers, and then solve for the actual value of x. So we have 0,1 over here, and 0,1 over here. And if we're then going to unwrap this, we have C equals N over V, like we have in the little formula over here, where if we bring it down here, our volume is over 1, and therefore our concentration is 0,1, and our N is over there. Anything multiplied by 1 is the same thing, and therefore our equilibrium mole amount is also 0,1, just because volume is 1, and therefore that won't change the values between the concentration and the equilibrium mole. And this puts us in a really good position, because as soon as we have values over here, we can calculate the change in moles. And this is very good for us, because if carbon dioxide gas was added to the system, it means the reverse reaction will be favored, which means that we are going to gain CO. There will be more CO at equilibrium than initially, which means if we just take 0,1 minus 1,10 times 10 to the negative 2, we have added 0,089 moles to the CO at equilibrium, which means that if this guy is adding, this guy is subtracting on this side, as we have favored the reverse reaction. And as we mentioned, the change in moles is very important, because here we can do a molar ratio. By that, if this guy is 2 and this guy is 1 over here, we can divide the 0,089 by 2, and we'll get 0,0445 over here. The change in moles is the only place that we can use our molar ratios to figure out how much things changed by in relation to one another, which means that once again, we can go 0,1 minus 0,0445, and we can figure out what our initial moles is on this side, which was the objective this whole time, which means we have 1,445 times 10 to the negative 1 over here, and that would have earned us 5 marks so far. And then the last step in the chain is calculate the amount in mole. As we have here, we have the initial moles of carbon dioxide that was added to the system, and what we can do is we can go N added, the amount of moles added, equals the amount of moles for the new initial minus the amount of mole at the previous equilibrium, because they didn't just take this amount of concentration or mole and put it over here. They added more CO2 to the mixture, and therefore we had to calculate the new initial and compare it to this previous initial. So therefore our new initial is 1,445 times 10 to the negative 1, and we're going to subtract the answer we have over here, the 1,21 times 10 to the negative 3, and that will equal 0,143 mole over there. And these would earn us our last 2 marks, because then we calculated the amount in mole of carbon dioxide that was added to the system, and that would earn us 7 marks over here and 18 marks for this whole section. Great job, guys. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.